What's up everybody? Dylan here with Saga Action Arts. I just wanted to let you know I put together a very quick and fun 15-minute shadowboxing round for you to do while you're at home. It's going to include 5 different tools for you to practice over the course of the workout. That is punching, kicking, kickboxing, stick fighting, and an all tools round. So each round you're going to use a different tool, and that round's going to be 45 seconds long with a 15-second rest in between. So go ahead, get ready, and join in with me as I go through this workout. A little note on the side, I'm going to be including an audio narration in the background to give you some tips and some thoughts as you go along. But for the most part, this video is fairly open source. You do you, and you just keep going as the rounds go. If you need to take a break early, and just try and get through the whole video. So grab a bottle of water, maybe a towel, and get ready for a fast and furious shadowboxing round with Saga Action Arts. See you at the end of the video.
Get ready!
As the screen comes up, touch gloves with the camera. We're really just focusing on some jabs and crosses and some hooks. You know, there's only a few basic punches in boxing. And really as you go through the first round, you want to just kind of cycle through a few quick combos, throw in some defenses, keep your footwork light. When you do your defenses, you can do slips, you can do bob and weaves, you can do blocks. But again, I'm mostly sticking with my crosses, my hooks, my jabs. I'll throw in a few uppercuts here and there, especially when I'm coming out of my bob and weaves. As I get near the end of the round, I'm really trying to put in a little bit of energy and make sure that I finish strong, because it's the first round and that's what I gotta do. The next round coming up is going to be kicking. For those of you that don't know, my background in kicking is primarily from Savate Boxe Française, the French kicking style. So let's see what I do. Up right out the gate, I'm firing fouette bas and fouette médiane. Those are your Savate roundhouse kicks. Again, I'm keeping my footwork very light. I'm occasionally spinning into revers lateral, doing a chassé frontal, and some cross-stepping. Try and make sure that when you're doing your savate, you keep your footwork a little circular. I'm staying a bit on a line right now. That's probably because of the camera. But once you finally get into it, you want to try and make sure that you décollage and you move around. So hopefully in round 2, I'll do a bit better at that. Using my revers frontals, my revers laterals to get some spins in. Taking a break now, going to get back into using all tools. So when I use all 4 tools, that includes my punches and my kicks, so my upper body tools and my lower body tools, as Dr. Brian Stoops, my martial arts advisor, likes to call them. I got my jab, my cross, my kick, and now what's really important is that as you get into your kickboxing, you want to make sure that you don't isolate your kicks from your punches. You want to string them together. Now, occasionally it's a good thing to throw kick combos only or punch combos only, but as you want to develop as a kickboxer, especially in Savate Boxe Française, you really want to make sure that you're mixing up punching and kicking at almost an even rate. It's not quite Taekwondo where it's like a 90-10 thing. Boxe Française really is about 50-50, or at the most in the split 70-30, because it's really a range-to-range game, so you're training to be able to fire those kicks off those punches and vice versa. Now as we go into the 4th round, the 4th round is going to be stick fighting. That's just the easiest way to refer to it as. It doesn't matter what Filipino martial arts it is, it's really about just stick fighting. Again, similar to your jab and cross, you've got your 1 and 2 angles, you've got your redondos, you've got your functional tools that you really need to stick with. And what you really want to focus on as you're going through it is trying to do 2 to 3 moves at a time with footwork. You don't want to be standing still during a stick fight. Trust me, I learned that lesson the hard way in the Philippines, but you really do need to move in and out of range. So as you're firing your combos, try and move in, and as you're firing your final shot, try and move out. It is a very hit and run style of fighting if you're only allowed to use the stick in sparring. If you're allowed to use your other tools, you can always crash and tackle. That's kind of how you would probably fight in Dog Brothers. I haven't done that yet, but that's kind of what I've been told. So here we're gonna go into our final round. Speaking of being able to use all your tools, kicking, punching, stick work, now try and figure out how to flow from your different modalities. And if you like dancing, dance it. So here we go, kicking and punching. Try and keep your guard up, especially on your non-stick hand. I get a little excited and I play with style a lot. If you see me spinning, I don't hate spinning. I think there's a tactical use for it, although again in the Philippines, I definitely got walloped on the back a few times. But in Savate, spinning is actually a really practical technique. So you don't wanna just hate on it for the sense of hating on it. You really wanna figure out how you utilize it. So as you see, I can also switch over to my left hand. I'm actually a left-handed fighter. So while that might be most people's complementary hand, I need to practice it because it's gonna be the hand that I use to take people apart. So jabbing combos, swinging combos, jabbing with a stick, jabbing with your glove. Make sure you play with everything when you have all tools. So as we go into round or set 2, however you want to refer to it as, your cardio is going to be up. So now you gotta keep kind of the same energy in, but you gotta make sure you don't lose it. In this case, I'm gonna be throwing a lot of the same side hits. So I'm gonna try and stick with some jab hooks, some overhands and crosses, and I wanna throw in some more uppercuts. I'm kind of running around back a lot, forwards and backwards. I'm not just kind of planting there. And I'm really focusing on digging in a lot. I think I'm getting more into my feet in this round. So if you want to, really make sure you work on your low to high movement. Split distance, make sure that you crash into the body a bit and go for the head. Don't just be a head hunter. The body is a very useful target in your typical boxing scenarios. So now we're going to go into our second round of kicking. I don't really remember what I was doing with my second round of kicking here, but I know it's about to be fun. We're getting time in there. Opening up with some chasses. Chasses are your piston or side kicks in Savate. I also go into some more tourneaux or spins into my fouettes and my revers, chaining them together, trying not to just throw one kick at a time. Oh, and there I'm starting to get my hands involved. I'm not supposed to be doing that. So if you do ever start kicking and punching at the same time during the kicking round, do try and limit yourself, but keep your guard up. This is your chance to really practice to keep your guard up and work defensively. I know towards the end of the round, I'm trying to pay attention to getting my legs out of the way, especially on the third round, because in Savate, you can't do leg checks. You need to just kind of keep them in motion. All right, we're going into the next round. This round is gonna be all hand and feet tools. So punching and kicking, I just refer to it as kickboxing. I open on my, I'm actually starting on my rear side, on my right side, the southpaw lead, but then of course I'm switching back and forth. And I'm really trying to throw punching to kicking combos again. Your jab is gonna set up, moving your opponent back, and you're gonna be able to follow them with your kicks, or you're gonna be able to follow your kicks up with punches because you're always trying to land into range or move somebody out of range of your punches so that you can hit them with a kick. Once you start moving on the circle a lot more, it becomes an even more aggressive game of range control and management because now they're gonna counter you from their off angles and you're gonna have to try and counter them. So just try and make sure that you keep your footwork a little circular from time to time. And I wish I had a bottle of water for this one, but that's me just trying to go through it. So last round of this set, we're going to go through all tools, including the stick. And let's see what we do here. I'm keeping my footwork a little flat right now, but I'm staying bouncy in the toe. I'm whipping back and forth. You want to really try and make sure that your strikes are clear while you're practicing. I'm throwing some thrusts in. I think I'm having a lot of fun with the music here, so that's why I'm getting really spinny. When you're twirling, and I say that with quotes, twirling the stick, you're not necessarily doing anything useless. It just depends on if you're setting up the angles. I like throwing the backhand with the stick a lot as a setup for an angle 1 afterwards. You'll see I'm thrusting and poking on my way out and trying to step back in with my heavier strikes. I honestly am probably spinning too much. And there I go finally with some cross-step footwork, a la what I've learned from Guru Brian Stoops. So, oh, that was just the stick fighting round. That wasn't the all tools round. Well, the commentary speaks for itself on that one, so we'll just keep going. All right, now here's the all tools round. If you've ever learned some of the Saga Action Arts curriculum, you might have learned the Sticks and Kicks series. That's where you're gonna train to use the flow of the stick to get the kicks following any cut that you do. I'm actually putting a lot of work into crossing my hands here. So I'm firing my stick hand, I'm firing my jab or cross hand, my empty hand, and I'm trying to close with a little bit of almost a Sinawali pattern action. So try and give that a shot if you want. Try and, cross your hands, but not get them stuck. You don't want them to stay there so someone can trap you. Punching and kicking and punching and swinging with the stick. I'm just having way too much fun. But you should be too, that's really what the point is. All right, as we get into our last set of rounds, this is where we have to bring it all together. I thought I was gonna quit, and then I said, forget about it, I'm gonna go. So instead, what I decided to work on, if you're really tired, start working your defenses. Be slow, be methodical, think with intent. I'm blocking jabs, I'm blocking crosses, and I'm getting my head movement in. Really, really, really work on your head movement. I'm doing my splits, I'm doing my wampoks. I'm making sure that when I block, I counter and I don't just stand there. I'm doing my shields and my bob and weaves, picking up a little bit speed as I'm recovering my breath. Really, really, really focusing on defending and then countering, blocking and then attacking. Don't just trade hit for hit. Try and take a hit with a block and fire something back. All right, now we're resting up. It's legs time. Let's see if we can get this last round of just legs. I'm putting my guard up right in front of me. I'm demonstrating some of the different blocks you can do against legs, such as scooping and parry in opposition. Try not to reach too low. If you reach below your own waist to block a low kick, that is not advisable in Savat. They don't really do the karate style block. But if you're scooping, what I'm doing there is I'm not blocking a low kick. I'm moving a chasse median or a chasse lateral median off my center line and scooping it around. It's not a technique that I'm super great at yet, but it's one that I'm really gonna be practicing for my yellow glove. Parries and oppositions, and making sure, just like in the boxing, that when I block, I immediately fire a counter. And right there's an example of training my décollage. I'm taking a block, I'm moving on the circle, and I'm firing my counter on my circular motion. All right, we're resting up, we're almost there. I'm demonstrating all punching and kicking from my kickboxing round. Let's see what happens when we combine it here. And again, we're focusing a little bit on defense and counter. So I'm parrying, I'm riposting, as it were, with my feet. Savat's very closely related to a lot of French swordplay ideas, just because the things came out around the same time. Making sure to cover my parries in opposition. Sometimes when I practice, I like to think about fighting multiple opponents, even if that's silly, but I'm not necessarily training for one-on-one fights right now. I'm just training to have accessibility to my moves. So when I do a big spin like that, nice and slow, and I get my blocks in, I'm actually throwing in some body motion. I'm doing a little bit of a pike back and trying to rush back in. So focus on moving backwards and forwards, and of course side to side, just so that you can feel how you got to get back in for your attacks off of a evasion or a defense. So now here we go. This is stick fighting, not all tools. This is stick fighting. So just fight with the stick. All right, now I'm going to be throwing some blocking strikes in there. I don't like to think about blocks as separate because they can always take somebody out if you hit them hard enough with the blocking of the stick. So I'm blocking to the shields and I'm blocking to the walls. And then right off of the blocks, I'm focusing on countering. So I'm really thinking about firing a strike as if I'm connecting with the opponent's weapon, and then following right up with a counter. I really need to tell myself to stay on camera here. Switching over to my left hand, trying to keep my footwork engaged with each strike that I fire. It's not about power so much right now as it is about keeping a little bit of consistency with my movement so that the stick doesn't move too independently of my body. All right, here we are, last round of all tools. This is for the big enchilada. If you've made it this far, you're a rock star, because I can tell you right now that when I got this far, I was about to fall over. I'm blocking and punching at the same time. I'm making sure to flow through my jabbing stick, to my crossing hand, to my pushing or whipping kicks, even my spinning kicks. So try and build combos where you go stick, hand, kick, stick, stick, hand, stick, kick, hand. Try and mix up the three. You've got 3 tools to play with. So there I go stick, hand, kick. Sometimes I go stick, hand, kick to hand to stick. You can have a lot of fun if you mix it up that way. Let's see if I do any kick. Yep, kick to stick to hand. It's a great way to fill it out. Just remember, you're flowing and you're going. This shadow boxing is really for you to feel cool and get a workout. And that's it, we're done for now. See you on the next one.
Congratulations!
Whew, all right, that was quite a workout. And I'm really surprised that I even made it through, so I'm really glad to see you here at the end of it. If you enjoyed what you just did with me, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. We're really working to build a community. I just wanted to provide a video where you could do some open source training. It's not about whether or not you keep up with me, it's about whether or not you just work on you. So thank you for joining in, and we'll see you on the next one.